Okay, I feel like I have to say this every day. It feels like I'm almost done. It's day 25 of 30 inks, 30 days in September 2023. I have 6 inks left. That's like nothing. It doesn't even make sense to put them in my big basket anymore, so I switched it out. And this light is so light and there's so little paper snippets left. I'm gonna take this one. This is just one. It feels like it. Hanging rice. Yay, yay. There we go. I'm interested to see what this ink will actually look like and how it will flow. I have noticed that many of the Troublemaker inks that I have used are pretty dry, and I am aware of the fact that I can prime the ink with white lightning, but I would generally prefer not to do that. Not because I don't like white lightning or anything. I just don't want to tinker with all the things all the time. I would like to have an experience that is just not too involved. Says the person who is so involved that she films 30 videos. Yeah, doesn't make sense. Not to me anyway. Don't have that many pens left. I think I will be able to use this pen after all. Yesterday when I used the Sailor Progress Slim, I said I didn't have a cartridge left, but the writing experience with that pen wasn't the greatest, so I think I'm just going to rinse it out, and then I will be able to include this in a 30 inks 30 days, especially now that I'm really curious. This is also a medium fine nib, and I really want to see how different they write, because this is a tangent, because their nibs are a bit different, I think. Yes, this one is a tiny bit bigger than the other one. So if I want to know if that makes a difference. It would be amazing if I could just ink up both of them with the same ink. That would give me the best comparison experience. I might be able to do that someday, but I think, you know what I'm going to do, because I'm in a color matching phase the last 2 days. What is happening here? Why is this just the converter shining through, or why is it so dark in the back of this fountain pen? Yep, it's because there's still some wetness in here. Yeah, I think actually this matches this quite well, or it complements it. It just works well. Let's leave it at that. Hanging rice. Really like the bottles, but yeah, I have noticed that most of the Troublemaker inks that I have tried or that are appealing to me are quite dry, and that's just a hurdle for me that I don't want to deal with every time. I'm glad I don't have ink bottles besides this one, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that this ink is one of the more wet inks. Normal, I don't know. We'll see. I haven't used this ink at all. Yeah. I don't know why I do this to myself all the time, but most of the ink bottles that I own, I have purchased without trying a sample before. Yep, that seems to be surprising by the advocate who says you try an ink sample first before you buy a bottle. But most of the time, the reason why I purchased this ink is because I wanted to share it with my friends. So I hope that is still the case, that my friend, well, I can't really imagine. Mar, if you're watching this, please let me know that you don't have this ink and that you need a sample. But I can't really imagine because that you don't have this as a bottled ink, because green is your favorite color. So why, and Troublemaker is your favorite ink brand. So why wouldn't you have this ink color? But if you don't, let me know. I'll happily send you a sample. That is basically the reason why I bought a bottle, so that I can share samples of this with my friends. Because that's the only, I talked about this before too on one of my videos. That's the only downside of getting samples. I think that's enough. Even though this green is definitely a green that I'm gravitating towards. I mean, probably that's also the reason why I didn't just buy a sample. So now the only question is, how do I like the performance of the ink in the pen? I have a bottle of Robert Oster Tea Time, that's basically this color. I have a bottle of Rohrer and Klingner Altgoldgrün, that's basically this color. And now I have Troublemaker Hanging Rice, that's basically this color. What we definitely notice is that this color does not match the one on the paper. Let's see. This is, if you didn't know before, the Esterbrook Estie in sea glass, and I have a journaler nib on there. I purchased that secondhand. So this color is Troublemaker. Oh no! I hate when this happens. It doesn't look right. I need to rip out the page and start over. I need to start over 30 days. Troublemaker Hanging Rice. Why didn't you say anything? You promised that you would say something when I started writing in regular writing again. And that's because I talked to you again while I was writing. Oh, I can't even. What was I going to say? Right now when I'm writing with this, to me, it's interesting. So I have heard, but maybe I'm wrong, correct me, that the journaler nib is toothier. Than the medium Sig nib from Franklin Christoph. They are both, if I'm not mistaken, basically what they're supposed to be doing is it's their take, as Sig stands for stub italic gradient. So it's like a mixture between, it's a smoother italic nib, like that goes, is a middle of the road thing between those, and the journaler nib is similar. If you read the description of both of those nibs, it's like, what I understand is that they're almost the same thing. But I have heard that this nib, the journaler nib, is supposed to have more, the edges are more sharper than the medium Sig nib, or Sig nibs in general. But when I wrote with my new medium Sig nib right here, to me it felt sharp, and this one feels very smooth. So I also, that's one of the things that I would like to explore more going forward, is inking up the same ink in all of my specialty nibs, my new cursive smooth italic, the medium Sig, and the journaler nib, all with the same ink, and writing with those during the same month, so that I can really understand the differences, what my preferences are, and all that jazz. So I will be back after I have transcribed. This is definitely a color that I like. It's very appealing to me. I already know that I'm drawn towards this more than, for instance, this. But that's the fun of this exercise, is to figure out what I like and what I don't. And it's okay to also just not like something. Alrighty, see you. Hello, I'm back and I'm going to talk about day 25. We are back at where the gap is between the starting of the filming and then the couple of days that I don't have the opportunity to film. So I don't really know what I'm talking about. Actually, I do. That's a cat. What are they doing? Hello, I'm back. And I have transcribed and written here in this journal right here. One thing, I didn't write that down, that's why I'm going to tell you, is that generally I have realized that I enjoy writing with the techo nib as a form of specialty nib more. So that one basically is specially ground in the, no, I don't know, vertical. I enjoy that more than the, let's just call them basic horizontal grinds. I am still trying to explore what that exactly means. This is what the writing looks with that pen. Now I have to find it. And that's basically all I can say at this point. I do have various different horizontal specialty grinds. I do have the techo as well as an architect nib, but I didn't explore that route yet. So I think with the nibs, with the specialty nibs and the exploring, what I'm going to do is I have 3 horizontal grinds at the moment that are newish. And I think what I'm going to do for the next foreseeable future is write with them, get to know them, see which one I prefer. And maybe next year sometime, beginning of next year, I don't know. I say these things and then the next day I buy all the things that I said I was going to buy in 5 months. But I know that Kirk's Beer has a tanto nib grind that is very similar to this. And if I'm not mistaken, then the techo nib grind is a variation or a take on a naginata togi grind. But I actually really don't know what I'm talking about when I say these things, so I will have to definitely do some more research on these vertical grinds. Now let's talk about this specific pen and ink combination, and I'm just going to read what I wrote. Well, I love this ink color. It's definitely the same or almost the same shade as Robert Oster Tea Time and Rohrer & Klingner Altgoldgrün. But it's so vibrant that I'm glad I got it. Writing on 68 TRP was not pleasant, but that's nothing new to my experience, so this is not specific to this pen and ink combination. I do seem to have to be in the mood for a stubby horizontal nib experience, because today I felt very forced and it wasn't fun at all. Even though the writing on 52 TRP, that's how I abbreviate the whole thing. So what I'm trying to say is 52 GSM Tomoe River paper is smooth and could be enjoyable, but I'm not feeling it today. Meh. Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. However, I have to say I did this at night. I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't in the mood. And I don't know if I was in the mood for this one, for example, or if this was just the new thing. I haven't written with it since I did the transcription project. That's something that is super weird about 30 inks, 30 days, because at least from the way that I do this, if you're not a YouTuber, maybe that's not happening for you, but I'm so involved in filming and editing and all that, that I don't really have the time to use these pens. I don't write letters right now. I'm actually not even filling in my weekly journal. I started, but I'm really far behind on that. Far behind is good. See, the week of the 4th, that's where I am. And I put down mostly, I don't remember what I did because I was so obsessed with 30 inks, 30 days. And that's okay because I know it's a time period that will end actually very soon. I remember something, so I just wrote them here. I'm actually debating whether I would just stick this in here because this is a very good representation on how this week went for me. I didn't do anything this last. Yes. So I am currently filming in, can I show you? Yes. Here, I didn't fill in last week. And so I just am not right now in the right headspace. It's not that I don't have time, I just don't have the right headspace. What I'm doing is I am journaling with these pens, but that is in a different time space continuum. So when I film this is not the same day that I use these pens to journal, and I document that in here. Where is it? Right here. So Cat, why are you walking right over my do you see him? Not yet. This is the cat right here that now has one less tooth, and he is doing fine. He's done taking his antibiotics. He still seems fine, so I don't think there's an infection from the extraction. And yeah, I'm super glad everything went well, but that was extremely expensive. Basically, a really good looking Sailor King of pens is what I spent on this stupid tooth cat. Ugh. So yeah, that's what I do with the pens, and that's not very much. It's interesting. Now I'm showing you something that I haven't showed you yet down here. These are the pens that I put here for cleaning. This one just doesn't write anymore. This was the first day, so I guess because I tried it. Why did I try it? Oh yes, I did something else. This just doesn't write anymore. There's no ink left, so it must have evaporated. This one, this was day 19. I just don't enjoy, and this is the same. So after I was done journaling with this, same with this, I decided, okay, it's time to let them go. Oh, and then this unfortunate endorylium failure. This nib flows really, really well. So I would have loved to use this a little bit longer, but it's just basically illegible. And so I'm going to clean that one as well. But as I'm going through, I am disposing of the inks that I just don't enjoy, or the pen ink combinations that I don't enjoy. And I have currently, this pen goes right here. So this is a full pen pouch of 10. And then I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What ink did I put in here? Why is this in here? Oh, because I brought it. There was a photo shoot at my workplace, so I put this in there. I haven't used this yet. So there is currently 10, and then I can't count, 15 pens of the 25 that I had inked are still left. I think I talked about this before. I don't really know what I'm going to do on September 30th. Am I going to unink them? I am working ahead, as you all know. So there is a kind of buffer where I might be able to experience them more and I can start fresh. I'm really curious about some of my bottled inks at the moment. So I really don't know where I'm going with this and what happens after 30 inks, 30 days. What I wanted to show you is the last thing in this whole rambling episode, that I, for some reason, realized that I didn't have a monthly overview. And I think I didn't want to document the inks in yet another format. I'm transcribing, I'm putting them here. When I'm using them to journal, I'm putting them here. And then I also, for Instagram and to fill up this journal, I'm filling them in here. And so I thought, well, that's totally enough. But what I noticed, especially with inks like, Krishna Sailor's Blue and Colorverse Cat, I was really interested to see them very close together, because here in this swatch, you can totally see how this is a very cold blue and this is a warm blue. You can see the sheen on these inks. You can compare these different reds and pinks here, and or for instance the Manyu Fuji and what was the other one, Urameku Yoi. They're not super similar, but at first glance and when you write with it, you might think that they might be comparable. And so having them here, same with Octopus Fluid and Caribic. I can speak German, so I should. Or with the greens here. It's so interesting to have them here. And this triggered another journal. And that I'm going to show you tomorrow when I come back for day 26. I will see you then. Bye.